Now, spam comes from a can, and we know what spam is. It's that pork meat that's been pureed up and then cooked in a can. It actually was developed in the US years and years ago. They had all these extra pork products, and they put it in a can, and it went off. They used it in the Second World War. They loved it. It's a great way of having meat anytime you want it, and it is delicious.
So when you say it went off, you mean it became quite popular, not that it decayed?
It became very, very popular. And in some parts of the US, I'll hand that over to you.
Oh, great.
In some parts of the US, what they do is they have spam carving competitions. So they'll carve shapes out of it and stack it up and make, the Mona Lisa and those sorts of things out of spam. It's incredible.
There you go.
Now, while I'm cutting the spam up, I've got some sauce over here, hoisin sauce, some light soy and some dark soy. Add the coconut sugar, the pepper and the rice wine in there. Give it a bit of a whisk up. What I do when I'm making a stir fry like this, I find if I have the sauce ready to go, all mixed together, then I can add it all at once nice and quickly. And any leftover sauce, what you can do is pop that into the fridge or in a jar, or maybe find a can and pop it into the fridge.
And I feel like in this episode we have to sing the song once, because you open this with spam comes from a can, and then the natural inclination is to go, it was put there by a man.
There we go.
In a factory downtown.
Yeah, you keep singing because I can't sing that well. My pan for my canned spam is on, so it's nice and hot. And I'm just going to throw everything in. I've got onions, garlic and ginger ready to go. In it goes, lots of sizzle action going on. I'm going to throw the spam in already. And my pan's really hot, so I haven't put any oil in there yet because I know that this is going to start frying up really, really quickly. Now, a little bit of extra virgin olive oil at this point, and you'll hear that sizzle. Just a bit of a splush. Listen to that.
Wow.
That is stir-fry action.
He's in his stir-fry frenzy, friends. Be careful.
That's what we want to see. And I'm standing back and I'm using a long spoon, and I'm using a really good non-stick pan here because I know I get lots of heat spread out across it. Now, I'm going to add some of my favourite things here. I've got some lapsang, which is some Chinese sausage. Beautiful, nice and sweet. It gives it a lovely flavour. I've also got some chicken that I found in the fridge, some poached chicken, and this other thing, I think they call it tofu. I'm not sure. That comes in a can too, apparently. And some prawns. We love some prawns in there as well. This is going to be a lovely stir-fry noodle dish with lots of goodies in there. I've just added a little bit of shrimp paste in there, very strong and pungent in flavour. Very pungent, yes. I like using it, and the trick is to fry that off in the pan with everything else, and you get that lovely flavour going through it. Now, give that a bit of a toss, and you can see this is coming together beautifully.
It is. You've used only a tiny bit of this, yes, because it's quite pungent and flavourful.
That's right.
But there's a lot of interesting smells coming from there.
You could actually use fish sauce if you wanted that same flavour without having to use the shrimp paste. There are some shrimp pastes that you can get, and you unwrap them, put them in some foil, put them into the oven, and you sort of toast them, and that really brings out the flavour and cooks it, and then you can put it into the stir-fry or crumble it over whatever you're doing. Now, I've got some eggs here. These are 3 Australian eggs, and I'll just give them a little bit of a whisk like this, not whisked up all the way through, just give them a little bit of a break up. And what I do is I just spread everything out to the side here because the pan's holding the heat beautifully, and pour the egg into the middle. Lovely. And what I do is let that egg cook a little bit and then break it up and mix it up with everything else. Bring those noodles over.
I'm going to bring them over to you, Chef, don't you worry.
Now, these are rice noodles, and these are fresh rice noodles. You can buy the ones that are dried, and you pour some boiling water over them and then let them drain off.
Nice, though.
These are fresh.
Yeah.
So what I do is warm them up a little bit and pull them apart. So they come apart really easily and then cook them. But the trick is to warm them up a little bit.
And how are you doing that in the microwave?
You can use them in the microwave, or you can put them somewhere nice and warm near the stove.
You can just put it in bed with Richardson.
Exactly. Now, you can see that's mixed up. You can see the eggs coming together beautifully.
Lovely.
All right, here comes the fun part. Grab the noodles like this, and we're going to start frying them off. Pop them in here, and that will start to warm them up. If you've got a really hot wok outside, you can char the noodles, take them out, and then add them back in again. But I like to mix them in like this. And they're cold like this, but they will heat up very, very quickly.
You could have made this in a wok, because then you'd have lots of space and you could toss it.
Exactly, but I'm using a large flat pan here because I like the heat that I get from the induction. I get to use all that heat coming up through it. Woks are great sometimes, and so are big fry pans. Now, I'm also going to chuck in some water chestnuts. These also...
I do love these.
These also come in a can.
They were put there by a man in a factory downtown.
Exactly. We're going to keep banging on about that one, aren't we? You're going to flog that one like an old horse, aren't you? Now, just give that a bit of a toss.
I think a pony, like a young...
Yeah, I could imagine you riding an old pony. There we go. Now, mix that around like that. Now I'm going to add the herbs. In they go.
So you've used these garlic chives, which are slightly different.
Yes, coriander, garlic chives and spring onions.
Yes.
Garlic chives, they call them society chives or society garlic. Great for adding that little bit of garlic flavour without that really stinky smell that comes out of your mouth. I love that stinky smell, but I love the garlic chives as well. Very easy to grow in your garden and very easy. A lot of places are having them now. A lot of supermarkets and greengrocers are stocking them. This is coming together beautifully. You can see, you know, bits of egg in there, and I use the tongs to mix it around. The noodles are softening up as well. As they heat up, they soften up and they start to incorporate all of these lovely flavours. What I want to do before I add the sauce, I want to make sure everything's incorporated nice and hot. And I reckon that's looking good. Look at that. Nice and crispy, and it happens really fast, and it happens without me getting all worked up and excited. Have you noticed that?
I have.
There
You're
we go.
not sweating today. It's nice.
I'm not sweating at all. In goes the sauce, and I'll add about half of that and pop that over there so it's out of the way. I won't add it all because I don't want to overdo it. We want to have this just all these subtle flavours coming out of it without overdoing it. And then it's just a matter of tossing it around like this so we get it nice and golden. You can see that sauce goes through it really easily.
Coating the noodles, beautiful.
That's looking great. A good toss like that, or you can just stir it around with the tongs. But I reckon that's ready to go.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's get into the
I'm thinking if I was making this, I would probably do more veggies. Honestly, I would put some veggies through that. I mean, I know it's about canned stuff, but the Spam is processed meat, which we know you're trying to limit because of salt intake, bowel cancer risk. So I know it's, you know, I would probably do this, but maybe a vegetarian version, or just do the chicken.
A lot of assumptions there.
A lot of assumptions.
I love this just the way it is. Lots of meat in here, lots of prawn in here, lots of good stuff in here. And
let's have a
little
taste.
The noodles and the great colour as well. And it came together really, really quickly, which is the most important thing. I'm going for a little piece of Spam, a little piece of noodle as well. Have a taste of that.
The noodle is beautiful. I'm actually going to use fresh from now on. That's lovely. Loving the flavours. Very flavourful. Like I said, I'd make those little tweaks, but this is a lovely dish.
Thank you very much. Spam in a can.
Spam in a can.
Who thought it would taste this good?
It was put there by a man.
Could have been a woman.
Exactly. I was going to say it needs to be edited.